welcome back to the channel. We're out here at Riffe Lake, which is a fairly large reservoir, and I believe we're in Lewis County, right? Yeah, it's the impoundment behind me. You can see the Mossy Rock Dam. It's a large impoundment. It's probably 6-7 miles long. Because it's big and it's deep, I mean, we're in 259 feet of water right now. For the past 6 weeks, we've been fishing a lot of kayaks, and we've been fishing a lot of small lakes. So we're catching fish 6 to 25 feet deep. And the water temperature is fairly consistent in that body of water the whole way through. Out here, the water is very stratified, so surface temperatures are 70 degrees right now, and you got to get all the way down to 85, almost 90 feet to get into the 55, 56 range. So you're looking at that thermocline in there somewhere around 80 feet. Consequently, we're fishing a lot deeper than we have been fishing the past few weeks. We're using downriggers, obviously. Pete's picked up one small fish on hoochie. I'm fishing a spinning glow hoochie on this side. And then he was pulling a spin fish at about 44 feet, but it seems like they're fairly deep. So we're going to be out here for about 4 days, and we're going to see what we can come up with here. We didn't bring the kayaks out here specifically because it's a large body of water, and the areas that we want to fish are fairly far spaced apart. So we wanted to make sure that we had the ability to get somewhere fairly rapidly. You can do all this same stuff in a kayak. It just takes a lot longer to get there and a lot more paddling. So we brought the boat out. We're going to do a little bit of downrigging and trolling. This lake has a lot of landlocked coho in it. That's primarily what you catch. We did catch some rainbow trout last couple times we were here. So that's what we're looking for. And stay with us and we'll show you what we can catch. Hold on, let me get on this monster fish. Mike is hooked up. Oh, that's a nice fish, Mike. So there's the lure that Pete's been using. That little, it's a hoochie body, double hook, very spaced out very short, and then a 1.1 smile blade on the front. It's just something I tied up, and they seem to catch fish pretty well. Better one.
Need another Coho? What?
If he stayed on. You get your camera. Day 4 up here at Riffe Lake. Pete's got that wading ring going again. Got him.
Just troll from one end of the lake to the next.
Okay, so we wanted to close out today with a little bit of tackle talk here. Again, we're at Riffe Lake. You can see Riffe Lake behind us. Been here all week, fishing fairly deep, 95 feet deep, and we used a variety of lures. This is not everything we used. We did pull some plugs, pulled a Rapala a little bit. I believe we probably pulled a couple of other plugs and spoons. We pulled trigger spoons because I've been down here in May, and the trigger spoons really did well in May, but they weren't in a spoon mood apparently this week. So what we ended up going to was soft plastics and spinners. I'll show you a few of the ones that we used here. We've got Uncle Larry's right there. It's got a little bit of almost like a bleeding type blade on there, and just a collection of red and pink beads. Again, the colors kind of disappear as you go deeper, starting with red and going on to, you know, purple and blue. So we essentially used what we thought was going to be best, and then once we found something that worked, we started copying it. On that spinner, I'm running them. This is probably really longer than you want to run it. You know, the common theory is 2.5, 3 Dodger lengths back. This is probably 18 inches back, and that Dodger I was running is just a standard kokanee and trout Dodger from Catch America. I haven't seen this color in their catalog lately, but that's who I got it from several years ago. So that outfit was running pretty well, and we started fishing that after we came on to this one here. So this is what Pete started with, that started catching fairly well. Not a great representative example because it's missing a hook. That hook got lost in the battle there, but that is just a regular Max wedding ring from Max Tackle, and he's running a leader length there of about 24 inches on that. And with that, he's running I don't know if this is a Brad's or a Simon, but a teardrop Dodger. And again, we run the Dodgers because a spinner doesn't really have the action of its own, so it gives it a little bit of float in the water. Another thing that works really well, especially down here, is a 360 flasher if you can get one that's small enough. I mean, I wouldn't run a big 8 or 11 inch salmon flasher on there, but you may have luck with that too. The other Dodger that I was using quite a bit, that I don't know of anything else like it, is the Sierra Diamondback from Catch America. This one I happened to select because it's got some purple and green, which I thought would show up better at depth, and of course it's got the silver on it, but it's got a very unique shape. When I first looked at this particular Dodger, I remember taking it out of the package and telling Pete, and I was like, what kind of cheap thing is that? Because I'd never seen anything like it. And it actually performs very well in the water. It's got a wide range of speeds. It's got a lot of action. It has an S shape to it, but not super pronounced. A lot of times if you get a Dodger that has a lot of crazy action at slow speeds, as soon as you start going fast, it begins to roll. This one actually will run up to 2.5 or more and not roll on you. So that's one of the reasons I was using that one. And then primarily I was using a blue Metal Flake Trout Tricks Minnow. The one that I have rigged up here for representation obviously is pink. We fish this a lot in the smaller lakes. Now this has got an extra long cricket hook on it, so that cricket hook eye is way up here, and that's the length of the hook. It's like 1.5 inches long or something like that. And then we just run that with a bobber stop, a bead, and then the action disc on the front. And I don't worry too much about how long these are. I just stretch them out. This one's got to be 5 feet long if it's 1 inch. Because I run these naked. I don't run this behind a Dodger or a tractor, so that clips onto my main line. So that's how I'm running that one. And I'll show you one more lure, and then we'll talk a little bit about rods, and we'll be done. This is something I just made up a couple of years ago when Pete started fishing it. I was calling it a trout assassin, but essentially it's just a collection of beads, a hoochie skirt, and a smile blade, right? So I've got 2 Gamakatsu octopus tied up with a bead in the middle. There's 2 soft beads that I jam up in the hoochie skirt, and it slides down there. So the first hook actually comes up here right within the hoochie skirt, and the other one's right at the tail. They don't tend to short strike this. And then on the front, you would definitely want another bead, and that's just a Max 1.1 smile blade, a UV smile blade. And I run this one pretty short, so this one's only about 12 inches long, and the reason is I'm going to run it behind a Dodger so it has some action. And Pete actually picked up a lot of fish on this one the first day we were here, I believe. So anybody can tie that thing up. You can buy something like that too. I forget what Max calls it. It's a cha-cha squidder or something. But you can buy all these pieces and parts, or just take them from lures that you have that are trashed or whatever and retie them yourself. It's not that hard. Couple things about the tackle we used. I think I've covered this quite a bit, but we'll go over it one more time. So all of our trolling setups are set up almost exactly the same between my rods and Pete's rods. We've got a bead chain swivel onto a dual lock snap, and that's what attaches to our leader for our offerings. And on top of that, I put 2 8mm beads for visibility. One of them, you know, and it also keeps the rod tip cushioned if you happen to reel that up into the rod tip. The rods are just standard kokanee trout rods. This one happens to be a 7-foot rod just for demonstration purposes. That's primarily a kayak rod. And then behind me over here, I've got, you know, 2 of the longer rods. One's a kokanee black, and one's that talon you saw out in the water. But the rods aren't that critical with this kind of fishing. You do want a trout or kokanee rod, something that's fairly soft, something that's fairly light actioned. I wouldn't go any heavier than light or medium light. For trout, you know, average sized trout. Now if you're catching big trout, you might want a steelhead rod. I used to fish a steelhead rod a lot for trout, but that's kind of what we've been up to here at Riffe Lake, and what's been catching. What's been catching for us have been the spinners, hoochies, and soft plastics, and you can get all of that at Catch America. So if you like what you're seeing here, like and subscribe. Our channel is Gig Harbor Fishing Club. Definitely like and subscribe to Catch America. They have a great selection of tackle. They got a lot of guys working there. You know, they've got guided trips, all kinds of stuff, and we're excited to be doing some fishing reports for them.